stop. If you clicked on this video, you probably know who Slave Knight GAEL is, but there seem to be some misconceptions revolving around his figure. Let's clear the smoke surrounding the final boss of the Dark Souls series. As his name suggests, he was one of the many slave knights employed as cannon fodder during battles, given their undead nature. This aspect is further enhanced by his cloak with the typical hood. Ironically, the shape of his hood resembles the Phrygian cap used by the Phrygian people, and later, in ancient Rome, was donated by masters to their former slaves and thus became a symbol of freedom. The same freedom that GAEL lacks. He managed to escape from his life of perpetual fighting, probably because his kingdom collapsed, and he met the painter in the painted world of Ariandel, a place for all the discriminated, crooked creatures who didn't have a place to belong. GAEL had a deep bond with the painter, almost as if they were a family. The painter even calls him Uncle GAEL. The two DLCs are connected, as in the first one, we learn that in order to achieve what the painter wants, which is painting a new world with the Dark Soul, we first have to burn down the previous one. GAEL acts as a guide for us in both DLCs by allowing us to enter the painted world, and by telling us where to go to access the ringed city. His mission, which was the only thing preventing him from going hollow, was retrieving the blood of the Dark Soul to use as a pigment. It was so important to him because with the Dark Souls, the painter could have created a world exempt from the corruption of the First Flame and the cycle of ages. GAEL continued his search of the Dark Soul by traveling extensively and fighting numerous battles until he reached the very end of the world and time. He, who was just a slave, a nobody, managed to outlive both the mighty gods and the demons, as well as the eternal dragons. All that left was taking the blood from the Pygmy Lords, but it had dried. At that point, GAEL knew he had no other choice. He knew he wasn't a champion and didn't possess the physical nor the mental strength to bear the power of the Dark Soul, but he started consuming the flesh of the Pygmy Lords. Wound, and he realizes that he has completed the mission. When the only thing who kept him from the verge of insanity disappeared, he became hollow. After slaying him, we retrieve his blood and we bring it to the painter to finally put an end to the cycle who influenced the whole universe of the game. In my opinion, there couldn't have been a more perfect conclusion than this one because it perfectly embodies the whole essence of the trilogy.